All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning back to our class. Please, if it's your first time in this channel, kindly subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and you can as well save this video for later. All right, so today we are going to be looking at something that's very, very important in Microsoft Excel, and that is lookups. Now, what is lookup implying Excel? Now, you have a set of data, but you're trying to look into that data to carry out a form of analysis if it meets a particular criteria, okay? And one of such lookups that we'll be looking at is the use of functions. Be looking at functions in Excel. In our previous class, we've looked at functions like sum. Yeah. So today we'll be looking at other functions that are applicable in Excel, and we are going to be exploring the formula menu today. From formula, I can see insert function. So this is where we're going to be using all of our functions. Now, the first one to look at is the if statement. Now, what is an if statement? If statement is just a conditional statement. That is, it is either going to be this or that, okay? For instance, if you look at this company sales for the month of February 2023, you can see sales in week 1, week 2, 3, and 4. And of course, the total has been computed, which I believe by now, we all know how total is being computed. You can see some from B7 to E7. Now, we want to compare it to the monthly goal. Let's say this company has set a monthly goal for staff members, okay? That anyone who hits a target of 34,000 has met the monthly goal. Otherwise, they do not meet the goal. So this is just for illustration. This could be 1,000 number of persons here. You can't possibly just look at the total and compare to the monthly goal to know if they met the goal or not. So we have to use if statements. Now, pay attention as I practicalize how to use if statements. So the goal is going to be if they meet this goal, will we let it display yes, goal met. Otherwise, let it display no, goal not met. So these are going to be the two conditional statements you are going to be given for the if statement. Now, how do you apply such if statement in Excel? Now, you have to click on the target cell. Now, you come to your formula bar. Let's say we're at home. You come to your formula. Then you click on insert function. Now, Excel have so many functions here. As you can see, there are a lot of them. But I'm just going to search for if in this box. Just write if and go. So just direct you to if because there are a whole lot of them here. Then I'll okay. Now, this is the if dialog box. First thing is asking you, what statement are you looking for? So I'm going to be checking with total. So if total score, all right, which is F7, is greater or equal to, okay, this monthly goal, which is on B4. So I'll just click on it. So if total is greater or equal to the monthly goal, remember I'm putting their cell address, not the actual number, so that if that value, the monthly goal changes, it can also adjust. Then if it is true, let the output be yes. Now this output, you have to put it in quotation mark for Excel to understand that is an output from an if statement. So I'll put my quotation mark, yes, goal met. Let me use caps lock. Yes, goal met. Then I'll still close the quotation I've opened. So it's going to start with an open quotation and a closed quotation. Now, what if the statement is not true? I will still put another quotation here and say, go no. Let it display no, goal not met. Okay. So I will close the quotation. So you enter the logical tests, that is putting where you want to compare. We are comparing total to the monthly goal. If it is true, let it be go met. If it is false, no, go not met. Then you okay. Now, as you can see, the first output is out. Yes, go met. If you compare, you see that that is for 36K and 36245 is greater than 34. Now, we are going to fill for others by coming to this dot here, click and drag it down to automatically fill for others. Now, voila, as you can see, others have been computed, but pay attention very well. You find out that it may not be very correct. For instance, if you see this column here, for E. Brown's total sale is $31,475 and it's displaying yes, go met. So that means there has been a problem somewhere. Let's investigate that. Just double click on it, you see the function. Now observe, instead of comparing to cell B4, because this thing is like automatic, it is skipping to the next cell now. It's now comparing it to cell B5, which is an empty cell, all right? Now, also, if you look at this Sandberg, you see that 33 is still less than 34. Yes, it's displaying go met. So there is problem with the function. Now, that's what we need to do. We need to make our function absolute. Now, when it becomes absolute, it means that each column should be evaluated with respect to this same B4. How do you make value absolute? So to make absolute function, all you have to do is, I'm going to come back to the first one where we calculated, double click on it. Now, right here, or I can go from the address bar, just add a dollar sign before the B and after the B. So add dollar before the B and also add dollar after the B. So dollar B, dollar. That will lock up that value. That's every other column should be done respect to that. Then you enter. Yes, go met. Now let me apply for other. Okay, as you can see, this is better. Now you see that E. Brown is now no, go not met. And if you double click it there, you see that it is still respect to cell B4. So this is how to make a particular value absolute, all right? Meanwhile, we've been able to demonstrate how to use the if statement. You can see that the statement said if it is greater than 34,000, let it be yes, go met, otherwise go not met. All right. So this is just a simple case of applying the if statement. Are we going to stop here? No. We can also extend this knowledge to a possible continuous if statement, what we refer to as nested if. What if the condition that is going to check is not one? What if you're to check multiple conditions, like in grading system, where you have to put grades like A, B, C, or let's say you want to, give some gift item to people who have reached a particular target. All right, so that will take us to the next one, which is the nested if. So let's go to the next sheet here. Now we have the nested if. What do we do in nested if? Okay, now this is also like sales from different reps. Okay, firstly, we can compute the total here, and then we need to compute a gift item using this nested if. Now, if you've been following up this course, you understand that when you have such data, all you have to do is just press your Ctrl+T anywhere inside it, and okay, so that it converts it to a table, a functional table. I noticed that these currencies are in Naira, and I am not comfortable with that. So I'm going to change them all to either pounds or dollars. So I'll highlight that range, come back to home. Yes, under currency, yeah. Maybe I just change them all to pounds. Yeah, so better. Now remember how we compute our total. So total here is going to be units multiplied by unit cost, which is equal to sum, open a bracket. Unit is E2. So I'll just type E2, then put my oh, sorry, this is not a sum, this is product. So I'll just say open bracket, E2, asterisk for multiplication, then F2. Now, observe what happened once I hit my enter. Excel will automatically compute for the rest of the rows. Mind you, we are changing this now to pounds. So I'm going to highlight it, come back to my accounting here, and put it in pounds. Now, The total has been computed, all right? Now, the task here is not really to compute total, but to use a conditional statement, a nested if statement, to assign each of these items based on performance of a rep. Let's say a rep that has sales greater than 1,500 should get a smartphone. Then those greater than 1,300 should get power bank. Up to those who have 500 should get a pen. And if you did not hit up to 500 as your target, better luck next time. So I'm going to add a column here and call it gifts. Okay. Just format properly. Now, this column is going to be for our gift. Let me just expand it a little more. Now, I'm going to apply this nested if statement. Pay attention as you do it. So it's going to be continuous, and you're going to repeat the ifs as many times as we have these options here until you get to the S, which is now going to be the last one. So I'm going to start by putting equal to, then if. Remember, every command must start with equal to. Then I open parentheses now. Now, I'm checking with respect to my total score, which is on G2. So if G2 is greater or equal to 1,500, comma, then I'll put my quotation mark and put smartphone. Okay? Then I'll close the quotation mark, comma. Again, I will put another statement, if, and I'll open a bracket again. Now, at the end, you find out that every bracket open is going to be closed at the end. So we're leaving them all open till the end. Now, if that same value, which is on G2, is greater or equal to 1,300, comma, put your quotation again and put power bank. So people in this category get power bank. Then I will close the quotation, comma. The next if statement comes in. If, open brackets, after the ifs comes a bracket, cell G2, which is the reference cell, if it's greater or equal to 1,000, comma, this will get water bottle. That's fair. Comma, another if again, that same G2 greater or equal to, this time around 750. Okay, comma. Now, what are they going to get? They're going to get a mug. Then the last, no, not really the last, second to the last now. If CG2 is greater or equal to 500, comma, you put your quotation mark. These people get just a pen. Now, I've gotten to the last. This is now where I'm going to put the very last option. So I'll just put comma. If they don't fall into any of this category, I'll put my quotation mark and just say better luck next time. Then I'll close the parentheses. No, the quotation mark. Now, how many times did I open this if? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to close the bracket 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Now, this is how you enter a continuous if statement. Then I'll hit my enter button. Of course, because we are working with a functional table, you find out that Excel will automatically compute for every other row. Yes, as you can see, this is mug. Mug is for people greater or equal to 750, but less than 1,000. Yes, that's mug. Okay, better luck. These people did not hit up to 500, so better luck next time. Can you see that? I can still format the text better. Let's say you come back here, the usual fonts, maybe change it to Times New Roman. Yeah, it's clearer. If I want to make it bold, I can also make it bold. Good. All right, maybe I should have used the title case. I used uppercase. Now, this is how to apply nested if. Okay. Now, by this now, depending on their total sales for this particular month, it will determine what they are going to get as a gift. All right. Maybe this gift is just a way to motivate them to, increase their sales in subsequent months to come. All right. Now, away from this same nested if can be applied to student grading system. Okay. Now, let's say you want to calculate the grade of students. Have you ever wondered how external examination bodies like the WAEC and NECO and the rest of them compute result of thousands of students at the same time, making sure that everybody gets the grade? It's just simple. Once these results have been entered, let's say this is for a university course, okay? Now you have the continuous assessment 1, 2, exam, and total score. And here you have different students here. Please check very well if you see your name. Yeah, I see Messi too. I think I know a Messi too. All right. So we are going to apply that same nested if to get the grade here. What becomes the grade? Remember, in grading system, 70, greater than 70 is A. And that's how it comes down, greater than 60. Or that's 60 and above, of course. Greater equal to 60 is B. Greater equal to 50 is a C. Now, greater and equal to 45 is a D, assuming that's how it is. Then greater and equal to 40 is E. And then, of course, less than 40 is failure, F, which is not our grade. All right, so we are going to use this condition. This is going to be the condition for the if statements. All right. Of course, this is greater or equal to 70, greater equal to 70. So 70 and above A, 60 and above B, C, D, and F. So quickly, we just come to our grade here and insert the function equal to if, I'll open my bracket now. Now, remember we are doing it with respect to the total score here. So if total score is on F4, so if F4 is greater or equal to 70, comma, I'll put my quotation mark, just let it display A. Very easy, comma. Then if again, remember you can put a space or you can choose not to put a space before the next if. Yes, if that same F4 is greater or equal to 60, comma, let this be a B, comma, if you open bracket again, F4 is greater or equal to 50, comma, you open quotation, this is a C, you close the quotation, comma, if, yes again, open bracket, F4 is greater or equal to 45, comma, you open your quotation. This is going to be a D. You close it, comma. If you open brackets, F4 is greater or equal to 40, comma. These people are the E people. So that is E. You close it. Now, the last one is going to be the S. That is those who are not in this category. I'll put comma and just write, open my quotation and just put F. So if it doesn't fall into any of this category, it means they should just display F. Now you check how many times did I open it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to close my bracket 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now make sure that you enter this command very well, because if you do not, you may run into trouble. All right. So I will just enter. Of course, that's correct. You can see that this person scored 88. That's A. Okay, I'll just come here, double click on this edge here to apply it for others. as you can see, we've been able to compute the results of every other student. Wow, I think they did so well. Okay, there's somebody with F here. This person performed poorly. Total score is 25. So that's F. Okay. All right. Now you have this done. You can even apply the other forms of sort and filter if you convert this to a table. Maybe you want to see those in only A category. You can sort by grade. If you want to see the best performing students, you can also check that. Maybe first 5, first 10 with total score, of course. All right. So this is how to do the nested if statement. We've seen how to do the ordinary if statements where you just have if and s. And then we have applied the nested if statements to gifting. And we've also applied this to grading system. Now, there's one more thing we need to do in this lookup. And that is going to be what we call SUMIF. This is the last thing we'll be doing in this class today. SUMIF. Look at average if. And then look at SUMIFS. Okay, now what is SUMIF used for? If you look at this data here, you see that we have categories, division, and we have values for different months, and of course, total expenses. Now, let's say we are interested in finding out the total expenses for only category named software. Now, if you come to category, you find out that you have software here. Yes. You also scroll down. I think there's another software here. This is also software. Okay. Yeah. Now, we want to add up their total expenses and report it here. Now, instead of doing that manually, Excel provides us with functions which you can use to look up for items in a given data set and just compute their sums. And that is the SUMIF statement. Now, so to be able to compute the SUMIF statement, you need the category, and you're going to need the range where you're going to be searching, and of course, the reference item you're searching for. All right, so we are going to be computing it right inside this total expenses. I'll put my mouse there. How do we do SUMIF? Just come to your formula again, go to insert function. Right in this bar here, just type SUMIF and go straight. The first one will now be SUMIF. So I will click on it and OK. Now, in this dialog box, remember I told you we need a range, we need a criteria, and we need a sum range, of course. Now, what is the range? The range we are looking for is the category here. All right. So I'm going to highlight the entire items in the category. That would be our range. Highlight the entire item on that category. Remember? Okay. Now, criteria. The criteria we are looking out for is just software. So I'm not going to type software. I'll just come here and click on this software. All right. So that if I change the category, this becomes a functional dashboard. It can also give me the total expense for any other category. All right. Then sum range. We are checking the range from the total. So I'm going to highlight the total here. All right, so we've entered both the range, criteria, and sum total. As you can see, it has already computed 17,215. So I'll just OK. All right, so the total expenses for software in this data is 17,215. Remember, you can change that to dollar by coming back home and just come to currency and add dollar to it. Yeah, so that is in dollar. Now, that is for SUMIF. Similarly, we can also check for average expense. Okay, let's say we want to find out the average expense for the category called rent. Similarly, you just put your mouse in this area, you'll be computing it. Then come to your formula again, insert function. Now this time around, I'm looking for average if. If you don't see it as options here, just type it. Average if and go. All right, so average if is out. Then okay. Now similarly, remember you have to put a range. What is the range we are looking for? We are looking for All right, so this session is ending shortly, and that's where we're going to be wrapping it up. So under range, I'm going to select the categories. Okay. Good. Now, criteria, the criteria I'm looking for, I will come back to this place and select my rent. So that's criteria I'm looking for. Then average rent, we are still going to be checking it using the total. Should compute the average of that particular one by using the total here. Then we okay. Now it has been computed, telling you that for all category called rents, the average of them is 17,790. All right. Now, what makes this very interesting is, let's say you change this category here to software, and enter. Can you see that the average expense has changed? Yes, the average expense has changed because you have changed the category. That is why it is good to use a functional, to use the functions and not just type software, but assign a cell address to it. Let's say this one software. What if you want to change this to overhead? You see, the total expenses is now showing for overhead. So this is now like a functional dashboard. Now, the last but not the least thing we are looking up here is, what if we want to look at two different categories? Okay, we are looking up for expenses by division and category. All right, so we are looking up for division called is and category software. That will now take us to the last one, which is SUMIFS. We are going to use SUMIFS to give two different sum functions, SUMIF functions. All right, so again, we'll go to our formula, insert function. Then you just search for SUMIFS. Just SUMIFS, sum if then s, yes, SUMIFS. All right. Now, the first thing is showing us here is sum range. Remember, our sum range is the total expenses. So I will highlight that, the entire column. Now, criteria range. Remember, the first thing there we are looking up for is division. So the criteria range is division. Although you can still start with category. Remember, multiplication is commutative. It means A times B is B times A. So either one that comes does not really matter. So the first category I'm going to put is division. So I will select the entire division in this data. Then come to the criteria. Of course, we are looking at for division called East. I'll come back to this place here. Select East, which is on I-19. Yes. All right. Immediately you do that, I see that the second criteria is out. Now, the second criteria we are looking at for is category. So I will highlight my category. Make sure you highlight all cells. And then what is the category we are looking at for? We are looking at for software. Remember, it should just tell us the total expenses for all divisions that has software. And then just click on OK. All right, so that is 5,875. I think that is just for one column. Yes, only this column satisfies that. Can you see only this row rather? You see East software, and that's 5,875. Only one category satisfies that. If you check maybe other divisions, let's say you're looking at for West, you see that West is different. If you also look at for maybe North, you see it's changing. All right. So this is basically how to use lookups in Excel, functions as SUMIF, AVERAGEIF, SUMIFS to look at. Mind you, we are just using a very simple data set to illustrate this. This could be a very large data set where if you want to manually look up for some of these items, you stress yourself and spend so much time. So instead of doing all that, you can apply the simple SUMIF command or AVERAGEIF or SUMIFS to be able to search for a particular category of items in a given data set. So a quick recap of what we have done in this class. We started by looking at functions where we apply them, the if statements. Okay, this is just the direct if statement where you have if and x. And how do we do that? From formula, you go to insert functions. and then you select your if, and then put the commands, yes. And we also learn how to set absolute function, where you want everything to be subject to a particular value. I showed you how you can add dollar signs to lock up a particular value you're checking, value of interest, you lock it up so that the value will not be switching to the next successive row. Then away from that, we looked at nested if, where we used it to check for particular gift items that can be given to maybe staff members based on their sales performance. Now, if you double click on any of these functions, you see the command given. For the continuous if statement, you're going to open the if as many times as required, while the very last item, item that you need to add, you don't need to put the if, just put that one, which is going to be the S. And for every bracket you open, remember you have to close it for the function to run. And then we also went ahead to illustrate this nested if further in student grading system, where we used it to compute grade. If you double click, you see the function, how we entered from 70, of course, to those who are less than 40 that are going to be F. All right. Then away from there, we apply some database functions. Let's say in a functional database, you want to look up for some items. We've been able to apply the SUMIF, the average if, and of course the SUMIFs to be able to look at for some particular items in our data sets. And this will bring us to the end of our discussion tonight. I hope this was interesting for you, as it was for me, of course. All right, the exercise which you're going to be using for this class will be made available at the end of this class tonight. And if you find this video very interesting, do like and subscribe for more. So this is where we're going to be drawing the curtain. I'm going to leave the group open for the next 2 minutes. Let me get your reactions. If you're following, just put a thumbs up or just leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing with this course tonight. All right, so thank you. All right. So I will see you on Monday. Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare this video and also make available so that those who were unable to join can also watch the video to catch up. Thank you very much for tuning in to this session tonight. I hope you find this very interesting. And I hope you'll be able to carry out the exercises, which are very simple, of course. Well, maybe not to everyone, but just try your best and see how you can replicate what we have done tonight. It's quite interesting if you ask me. And I will see you on Monday. Remember, the group chat is always open for interaction. Just few persons are commenting there. Please leave a comment and make it live. That place is a classroom. So the classroom is always open. All right, so this is where we're going to be drawing the curtain for tonight. Thank you very much. And bye-bye.